Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? In today's video, we're going to be talking all about Newness by Natasha Denona. We have her glam palettes right here, and I have the light on one side and I have the dark on the other side. We're going to be doing, of course, demos, applications, some comparisons within her line and other things. And also, we found a dupe for the beloved Referal by Charlotte Tilbury. If you know what I'm talking about, you want to stay tuned till the end. If this is your first time passing by, I'm Gigi. I love to review luxury and high-end makeup. If you love that kind of content, go ahead and click the red button that says subscribe, and also go to my Instagram because over there I do keep you posted on new makeup sales, makeup releases, everything like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. Hey guys, let's get started, and today I'm very excited. We're gonna be playing with two face palettes by Natasha Denona. I picked out the light and the deeper version. These launched right when the Sephora sale started, so I got them 20% off right on time. Got them online, got them this morning, actually yesterday, and now I'm here. It's been selling out on and off, so I'll make sure to leave links below. In Canada, we have them both. It retails for 78 Canadian dollars, and it's her face and eye glam palette. In this palette, she features both eye and cheek essentials in universal neutral tones with 5 ultra pigmented eyeshadows and cream blush and highlighter. It is free of parabens and is also cruelty free. It's featuring a brand new formula that uses Japanese technology to deliver an extreme glow. This palette is perfect for traveling and creating everyday looks on the go. Designed with luxurious and never before seen Natasha Denona exclusive packaging, it comes into 2 different tones with lighter or darker shades to complement all skin tones. These rich pressed pigmented shadows and blush leave the skin with an optimal texture and comfortable all-day wear. I really love the sleek packaging in these palettes. I think it's very pretty. The Natasha Denona down here and the ND are raised, if you were able to see, and I don't know, it's just a different kind of packaging as this used to. You can see that it's very fingerprinty, so it's gonna get dirty quite quickly. If you have one of her blush palettes, these are very thick, so these ones are a little bit thinner, and they're more like the mighty size palettes. But here's a mighty size palette, and this is the face palette. So here are the face palette and the mighty side by side. So the face palette is just a little bit smaller, as you can see, but very compact, pretty nonetheless. I actually don't mind that it's fingerprinty. I think it looks stunning. So anyhow, I am excited. Let's go ahead and play. I already swatched these shades, and I'm going to show you some you know, outdoor swatches, some direct light swatches, but these felt absolutely stunning. It actually reminded me of something in Fire Rose palette, the texture of it. So let's begin with the face so we can have some color back into my face. I only applied a little bit of bronzer, and you can see that I have all my base done. So this side we're gonna do the light palette. These are the shades in the palette. I'm gonna take this BK Beauty brush, the 107, and I am going to apply the blush. And for highlighter, I'm going to take BK 108, and I'm going to dip into the highlight. I just switch out brushes because that one was too big for this highlighter. But it looks pretty. I don't feel like it's too light for my complexion. It actually looks quite nice and pretty. I was able to like really blend it out, because if I put too much, I feel like it's gonna be too light for me. So I think this is good. Okay, and the blush looks really pretty and natural. Now let's move on to the other cheek. and let's do the deeper palette. I'm gonna take my Referal 04, and this is what that blush looks like. It looks quite deep compared to the one in the light. Let me put them side by side. Highlighter, I'm going to take my Sigma F42. Very pretty and reflective. I like this highlighter more because it's a little bit more golden, more suitable for deeper complexions, but I don't mind this one. Okay, if I take this one, I won't mind using this highlighter. I think it's pretty. So let's go ahead and start with the eye look. I'm going to take this shade in Transition, and I'm going to use it on my crease. Beautiful pinky shade. You can see that it is showing up okay. Blends very effortlessly, no complaints. Let's move on to crease, which is the next shade up, and I'm going to apply it just a little bit lower. Okay, and I'm gonna take that one and I'm gonna run it on my lower lash. And this brush is too big for me, so I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm going to do that crease shade on my lower lash. I'm gonna take the shade Smoke and run just closer to my lash line in my outer V area. I'm just gonna leave it like that. If I need to come back and smoke it out a little bit more, I will do that. Let's do the shade for outer corner. I'm gonna take my nail, and this is very intense. I can see that has some fallout. I see some particles already flying, so I think I want to pick a brush. Just wet this brush and I'm going to take outer corner again and just being a little bit more neat. And then I'm going to turn my brush and I'm going to use this shade inner corner. Apply it. so pretty and reflective. It is so beautiful. Look at that. Both shades are very soft and buttery. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush with the shade Crease, and I'm just gonna clean my edges. And these two shades have fallout, as I mentioned, so you want to make sure to do your face first. But this is the light all completed. We'll do liner and just mascara in a minute, but I think it looks very pretty. Those shimmery shades are very intense, so I'll show you close-ups later on, but let's go ahead and play with the dark shade. So I'm gonna start off with Transition, which is this really warm shade, and I'm going to use it as transition. And I'm just deepening out my outer V with that shade, because the other shades in here look very deep and I'm not sure I want to go that deep. So yeah, let's do a little bit of crease, which is this shade here. It looks very deep, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of it. That's it. I don't want that to be that deep. Then I'm gonna do outer corner, and I'm just gonna clean off my MAC brush that I use. I'm gonna wet it, and then I am going to apply the two shimmers. So the first one is this one in outer corner, so I'm gonna apply it in my outer corner area. Not really showing much, so I'm just gonna use my finger. There we go. And then inner corner. I have long nails, so I don't really love to apply these shimmers with long nails. I'm gonna turn my brush and just do a better job here in the corners. These two shimmers are very beautiful too. I'm gonna take crease shade and I'm gonna run it in my lower lash. Okay, so these are the two looks. Let me go ahead and do liner, mascara, all that good stuff, and I'll be right back. Alright friends, and I'm back, and I finished off my eye looks with of course some lashes and a little bit of a brown liner in my waterline, and these are my two looks. I think they're so pretty, they're so pretty, but I don't know, I think I really like this one better. It's just so beautiful and truly glam. I loved the blush and I loved this highlighter more. I mean, it is the deeper palette, right? I guess Natasha, she knows what she's doing. Not to say that I didn't like this. I do love it. I did specifically love this pink shade, the one that I use in my outer corner the most. I think this shade is absolutely stunning. Let's find Fire Rose, because I feel like these shades are so close to Fire Rose. So if you were looking for Fire Rose by Charlotte but you never got your hands on it, we may have found a dupe. Alright, I'm back, and this is Fire Rose. So this is the super pop shade that Charlotte added to this quad that made it extremely special. You guys, we did it. It may not look exactly the same. You can see that the top one, which is Natasha's, is a little bit more peach in tone, and this one is looking a little bit more neutral. Let me dim down the lights. Hold on. Okay, so I just dimmed down the lights, and the bottom one is the one in Fire Rose, and the top one is the one by Natasha. They are so close, and what I mean close is that formulation, that very punchy and fiery shade. These just, I'm so excited. Yes, as soon as I swatched this palette, it just reminded me, it really took me back to Fire Rose, all these shades. And I'm not talking like color by color like Dupe. I'm talking about this special formula that she's included into this palette, and I truly love this. So Fire Rose is so close in the light palette. I am so excited. Okay, let's move on to some other comparisons. Okay, that was exciting because Fire Rose is truly nowhere to be seen. She's not bringing it back, and so if you never got your hands on Fire Rose, I think the light palette is gonna do it for you. I mean, these 4 shades in here are the price of this palette. In here you get so much more. Of course, these shades are lighter in tone. On Fire Rose palette, you get a little bit more deep dimension and richness on these tones, because I mean, that's the light palette, but this is what makes this palette so worth it, that single shade. So having it in a face palette like this, you really can't go wrong. I think that Natasha killed it. She killed these palettes, both of them. I cannot pick my fave, to be honest. I love them both. I think it's gonna come down to what you prefer on eyeshadows, because the blushes look very similar on me. The only difference I feel like it is big is the highlighter. Like the one in the Deep palette, I feel like it's more suitable for me. It looks more golden, how I like. This one just looks a little bit more pale and neutral, if you will. So that's the main difference. But swatching the blushes side by side, let's go ahead and do that. This is the one in the light palette, this is the one in the deep palette. They're truly very similar. Upon application, I cannot tell them apart, to be honest. You just need to have a lighter hand and you're gonna end up with the same kind of blush. It is truly the same undertone. If you have this palette by her, this is her, what shade is this? This is in Citrus, her big palette. There's nothing really that compares to these, but this formulation, this one here in the middle, I think is very similar to what you can find in the palette. But yeah, this is just very bright and just so much lighter. Then we have these 2 ones by her Bloom palette, and I feel like the blushes are similar to these formulation. In here you get a very light shade and then that deep shade, so nothing you know, close in tone when it comes to the bloom if you have it. And then the mini one is very pink, so I think it's also not the same. Yeah, so that's the bloom, the mini bloom, the first swatch there. Then we have these two, which are the new palettes, the light and the deep palette. So when it comes to the blushes within Natasha, they're unique to these face palettes. So now when it comes to her highlighters within these two palettes, they're both very pretty. So I'm gonna swatch, and they're so soft, you guys, to the touch. These are blinding highlighters. These are stunning. So this is the light shade, and you can see that it's very intense. That was just one swatch. It is a very platinum. And then let's do the deep shade, so you can truly see what I mean. The light shade is more platinum, more, you know, complementary to lighter complexions, and then the other one is more complementary to deeper complexions. That's just the bottom line. This one has a hint of peach, you know, the bottom one, which is very pretty, and I love that kind of highlighter, so I'm not surprised. That's why I like it so much. Let's do her highlighter in her tan palette, which is this one right here. I do not have her nude highlighter, so I can really swatch that for you. So this is a little bit more golden, as you can see, the one in the tan, and I think this is the one that is closer to that palette I'm telling you about that I don't have. So you're gonna expect that swatch to be something similar to these. So more golden. The one in the tan palette is a little bit more peach, and the one in the light palette is just a little bit more platinum neutral. This highlighter reminded me of this one by Pat, just Pat's being not as metallic, and this is it. I feel like it is close enough to the highlighter in the tan palette, in the deep, I mean, but yeah, again, just not as intense. The one in Pat's little guy here in the shade Golden Nectar, it's just a little bit more natural and everyday. So these are some comparisons for you if you were wondering. So now take a look at these swatches, and the first chunk of swatches closer to my bracelet is the one from light, and then we have the deep palette beside it. You can see that the deeper palette is just a little bit warmer. The light shades are just a little bit more pinky and neutral-ish in tone. So that's what I can say about, you know, the eyeshadows. So when it comes to her mini palette, her mini glam palette, the shades in here are very neutral, so they lean a little bit more neutral. The light palette is just pink. It's a whole new palette. It's just very different, so I don't think that there are going to be any similar shades within them. So let's swatch the brown just for fun. So the brown in the mini glam, this is what the brown looks like, and then let's do the smoke in the light palette. So I hope you can see how, you know, warm tone it is compared to the glam, the mini glam palette in here. This one is just very neutral. So again, this is such a neutral palette, and the light palette is just a little bit more rosy and pinky in tone, and I feel like this is very everyday friendly. So now let's talk about the glam palette. And you know, these palettes have the same name. They're called face glam palettes, and we already know Natasha at this point. When she did her retro palette and the mighty retro, we thought that they were gonna be similar, and they're not. So now we come to know that it's just that's whatever she feels like it. So this is a totally different palette, nothing to do with this. This is very cool tone, as you can see. This is the light palette, the one I'm holding right here. So then I'm holding the dark palette against the glam. So we know that it doesn't matter that these palettes are called glam. They have nothing to do with the mini glam or the mighty glam. So there you have it. Now that I have them both on my eyes and I can judge from how they work, they have the exact same formulation. The two shadows that are very metallic are really metallic, and then her transition shades are just great as usual. It's gonna come down to personal preference. Would you like something a little bit more pinky, more neutral, you know, something like this, more everyday kind of like friendly like, or do you like something like this, a little bit more glam, a little bit more like nighttime, things like that. Love both palettes. I cannot pick my fave, to be honest. I think they're both very complementary to my medium tan complexion, so I really have no complaints. She killed it. As I mentioned, she really did kill these two palettes. I think they're stunning. I keep looking at myself in the mirror. I'm trying to pick a fave, but yeah, I don't know. They're both very pretty. Alright friends, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this video? What do you think of the comparisons? What do you think of my 5 Rose dupe? Are you picking up these palettes during this sale? Are you going to take advantage of them? I know they keep coming back in and out of stock. Right now, they're currently back in stock. So if you wanted, you know, to try this new formulation that Natasha has, I'm going to have links below. I do appreciate them if you use them in advance. Thanks so much you guys for love and support. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!